Week 5 of high school football, and it's a Monday, which means I am bringing you rankings. Again, my name is Cade Nissen, and today we've got rankings from all 7 classes, new top 16s. We got plenty of movement, a few new teams in the top 16 for each class, so I'm excited to bring you guys all these rankings. And this video is the Class 8-man rankings. As I get this all set up, we've got 16 through 11. Starting at 16, we got Audubon. They enter our rankings for the first time. They beat St. Ed 66-48 last week. We got Arweva, the Rockets. They are also new to our rankings. They beat West Harrison 75-18 as Arweva now enters our top 16. At number 14, Southeast Warren. They dropped 3 spots after losing to Moravia 59-28. And Montezuma, they also lost. They lost to number 2 Winfield Mount Union 70-20. So they dropped 3 spots. That game was on Saturday. We got Iowa Valley moving up 4 spots after beating English Valley 48-16. And rounding out our little group outside the top 10 is Clarksville. They move up 4 spots after beating Tripoli 68-14. But now we will get into our top 10 for week 5. At number 10, Don Bosco. They beat Key 68-34. Key was a team ranked in some other polls across the state of Iowa, so a nice win by Don Bosco. They make their first appearance in the top 10 after doubling up a pretty good, like I said, pretty good Key High team. With every passing week that Gladbrook-Rhinebeck blows another team out, it makes that opening week 2 one-score loss look better and better. That game was really close, Don Bosco and Gladbrook-Rhinebeck, until the Rebels kind of pulled away at the end. But nevertheless, Don Bosco, they move up 3 spots. They were our team of the week in Class 8 player, and they enter our top 10 for the first time. At number 9, Lennox. They beat Mormon Trail 66-8. Lennox was able to bring home the homecoming win in week 4. The dance might have even gotten started a little earlier as the Tigers were up 54-0 at halftime. So again, Lennox, they don't move anywhere this week. They hold down the number 9 spot. Also not moving anywhere is Waco. Again, not much moving in our top 10 just because the team's beating up on each other. But Waco, they beat HLV 59-12. Waco's another team that is really, really battle tested. They have now played a ranked or previously ranked team in 3 of the 4 regular season weeks. The Warriors were able to keep HLV scoreless until the 4th quarter and cruise to a victory in week 4. At number 7, Central City, not much to say here. They got a forfeit win over New London, so that's why I'm bound. You're going to see a 17-0 score. That's just like the number you put when there's a forfeit. So again, Central City wins over forfeit for New London, so they don't move anywhere. And rounding out our 10 through 6 group is Moravia. They beat Southeast Warren 59-28. Big win in enemy territory for the Mohawks in week 4. Moravia was able to put 2 or more touchdowns in every quarter to outpace the Warhawks. An impressive win over a good Southeast Warren team that was previously number 11. So that rounds up our 10 through 6 group, but now we get into our top 5. And as you can see, not much movement at all. Bedford, the Bulldogs, they beat East Union 52-6. It's crazy how deep the top 8 of 8-man is this year when you have a team like Bedford who is putting together an impressive season. But they're only at the number 5 spot. I mean, most years this team would be a lot higher. Either way, the Bulldogs find themselves in a good spot halfway through the year. Again, that's a team that's really rose through the rankings. And speaking of a team that's rose through the rankings, Remsen St. Mary's, a team we knew hardly nothing about going into this year, but all they've done is win, and that was the motto this week, as our 8-man ranker put it, just win, baby, as they beat Boyer Valley 12-7, which is a pretty crazy score for an 8-man game. A bit of an anomaly, as our 8-man ranker puts it. Even crazier is that there were 0 points scored in the second half. The defending champs will definitely have a say when it comes to teams making a trip to the Dome, but it's going to be interesting to see how they match up with the 3 teams above them, since they've played 2 very different styles of football than the top 3 teams. Again, Remsen St. Mary's, they squeak by Boyer Valley, getting a 5-point win, 12-7, as they hold down the number 4 spot for another week. At number 3, Cam, the Cougars, they beat Coon Rapids Baird 50-6. And again, another team that's having a great year, but just still kind of stuck behind some really, really good teams. And Cam, I mean, you can argue they're right there, stride for stride with them, with Winfield Mount Union and Gladbrook-Rhinebeck, just lighting up the scoreboard. The Cougars' week win over Audubon looks even better now with the Wheelers climbing into the rankings this week. And again, it's just a matter of waiting for someone to slip up. And right now, an 8-man, these top teams are not slipping up. And speaking of not slipping up, Winfield Mount Union beat Montezuma 70-20. Winfield Mount Union 4-0 on the season, with 3 of those wins coming over ranked teams. Another dominant performance over your previous top 10 opponent in that game, and it was never really close. That game was on Saturday afternoon. The Wolves led 70-8 heading into the fourth quarter before Montezuma attacked on 2 scores late. So again, there's really kind of a top tier in 8-man with kind of Bedford, Remsen, Cam, Winfield, Mount Union, and Gladbrook Rhinebeck. Just teams kind of holding their spots in the rankings until someone slips up, but don't really see that happening anytime soon, and it did not happen last week. As we head to our number 1 team, who has held down the number 1 spot every single week this year, a rarity in our 7 classes. But Gladbrook Rhinebeck, they beat Dunkerton 56-0. Another week, another shutout for the Rebels. That makes 3 straight shutout victories. Gladbrook Rhinebeck has outscored opponents 224-0 in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, no one's going to be jumping over them unless Gladbrook Rhinebeck loses. They got a stranglehold on that number 1 spot, and we don't see that coming loose anytime soon. But nevertheless, that was our top 16 in Class 8 player this week. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think, whether a team's too high, too low, who should be in the rankings. No matter what, we love reading you guys' comments and your guys' feedback, and we appreciate you guys for tuning in. So until next week for the Class 8-man rankings.